Okay, we will continue what we were talking about, Adam's relation and sin. You know, what is sin is a question that's often asked among theologians. Many answers are given, and every answer is, some are fully true, some are partially true. We are not going to ask this question now. Sometime when we study on hamartiology, the doctrine of sin, we will deal with it. But let me say this one, sin is not a substance. Sin is not a substance. There is not a thing like sin you can take. It is neither a being nor a thing. And yet sin is a reality. Sin is not a being like Adam was a being. Sin is not a substance like stone or gold or silver, no. But it is real. Anselm denominated sin an essential, not a substantial. Essentia, not a substantial. It is sin is an essential. In other sense, it's a real thing. Yes. Essentia may be a too strong term. Others call it a habit and accident. Reformed theologians use these terms. Sin is a habit, inherent in the will and infecting the understanding of man. It is not strict non-entity. Sin is not a non-entity. Sin is not a nothing. Sin is not nothing. Sin is a something, but sin is not a substance. Sin is a reality. Everybody knows when you talk about sin. But if you show sin, it just cannot. Sin is an accident that does not belong to spiritual substance. When we say that God is the cause of all things, we mean that all things that have real existence or substance. Since sin does not have a substance, God is not the creator of it. John Calvin said sin is rather an adventurous adventurous quality or accident than a substantial property. The first sin of Adam, approximately and formally the violation of the Adamic statute, was ultimately and implicitly the violation of the whole normal law. The contempt of divine authority in eating the forbidden fruit was a contempt divine authority in general. He that transgresses in one point is guilty of all. James 2:10 says, if one breaks one law, you break all law. Hence sin is defined as transgression of law, or sin is lawlessness. What are they saying? They are saying something very difficult to understand, but yet we need to understand it. When Adam committed one sin, it was not just one sin, he was violating the whole moral law or the authority of God. When a little child, the father asks the child sit down when he doesn't sit but he stands up. Oh my yes. Thank you. So I have to go back and start again. Okay, that's all right. So when a little child is asked to sit down, by the father, the child refuses, stand up. What is he doing? Is he just doing an act of, instead of sitting, standing? No, he is challenging the authority of his father. That is what it is. The issue is not there standing or sitting. The issue is there the authority. Who will decide, me or you? That's it. I don't take your orders. Sorry. I'll sit when I want, and I will stand when I want. That's what the child is. So for this reason, teaching children obedience is demanded in the Bible. Teaching obedience is demanded. And if a child is found continuously disobedient, what the parents were to do? That's right. They have to take the son to the elders and say, this our son is a disobedient son and practices things that are contrary to moral laws, so they have to stone him. Very terrible law. Because the disobedience is a terrible one. Even now our young people, they have not learned to obey. Some of us who grew up a little earlier and under very strict parents, disobedience of any kind was very serious. I remember an incident in my life. I was maybe, 12, 13 years old maybe. My father told me something. I don't know exactly what it is, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it, so I kind of ran away from his presence, from his room with anger. With anger I ran away. My father said, come here. Instead of coming here, I went another 20 feet more. Yeah, then I realized what I'm doing. I realized what I was doing. So I wanted to start coming back. Father said, no. Stay where you are until further orders. This is my home. My orders will be obeyed. If you don't want to obey my home, leave it. You cannot come back. I stood there for 4 or 5 hours. I couldn't move. And I started crying because I knew my father very well. Then at that time, fortunately, one of the oldest, our related mother, Orlet Ammachi we call them, she came and she asked me why I was standing there. 4 hours I was standing. I thought it was raining also, I don't know. I was standing there. Then I told her, crying, so she's worked as a mediator. She came to my father, said that, he's a young boy, 14-year-old, you forgive him for one time. So she pleaded, then after much persuasion, I was permitted to come. Then I had to almost make an oath there, in no more in my life, as long as I am under his roof, I will disobey him. And I was very particular in obeying him. In my family, obedience was something like that. You just could not play the way you wanted. And I was brought up in that kind of so I look at the young people these days, they have no bell or brake like a cycle. Going down, a steep hill. Where are they going? It's very, very difficult, some of the old timers, to just watch the younger generation and enjoy what they are doing. The present generation has no problem accepting it. The father said, don't go, they will go. After 4 days they will come. So nothing, as if nothing happened, they will just come in, And the father-son relationship will go like that. Well, maybe my father was too strict a disciplinarian, maybe he was, but it helped. It did not hurt. It hurt only when I disobeyed. See, it helped as long as I am obeying, I had no problem. Yes. So that's the case with God also. As long as Adam was obeying, no problem. The moment he decided to disobey, the coming back was not easy. Remember, when God came to the garden, what was Adam's response? He ran away. He didn't run to God and say, hey, look what we did.
As if he had something to share.
Yeah. And nowadays young people have no problem in doing anything. I remember one young man, not very young man, but 25, 30-year-old man, came to me. I was the elder of the church. One evening he came to me with a girl. Of course, I knew the girl also. Knew in the sense that I knew he was dating the girl and all. So he came to me and said, who joins a man and woman in marriage? You know. Well, I said, Bible says God. Then God has joined us last evening. We sat together, gave our right hands, and we prayed and committed our life, and we entered into family life. I said, get out from your home as soon as possible, rascal. What did you do? Committed adultery? Eh? That sort of relationship, God does not approve, man does not approve, society does not approve, government does not approve. I chased him out, you know. I said, don't come back. You are not husband and wife, you are in adultery. So we put him out. Oh, nowadays people say, that's fine, that's all personal choices, you know. That's one way of doing it. Is it? There's only one way of doing a right thing. There's no two ways. There's only one way. Adam could do only one thing, not eating that fruit. He could not, but he did. So this is today's, you know, in the today's world you cannot because the absolutes have been forgotten, the moral absolutes have been forgotten. Everything is relative. With the law of relativity come, I think it's not in the scientific world only, it is in the moral world also. Everything is relative. The new world, there is no absolute. The new ethics, new morality, new religion, absolutes and God is ruled out. Everything is relative. What so society approves, you do it. That's what morality and ethics is decided, what the society approves. If the society approves homosexuality, then homosexuality is fine. There was a time when the society didn't approve it, so it was bad. Now it is approved. Even the society, the greatest society and the greatest social authority, the Supreme Court of India and all said, okay, that's fine. So what is wrong? It doesn't make. You cannot make a wrong thing a right thing by more people agreeing to it. No. Right and wrong are not decided by, you know, majority. So when God told man not to do it, and when he did it, it was not a single incident. It was the beginning of a lifestyle where man will decide for himself what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. That's the system now. I see it in many homes where even 4 and 5 and 6-year-old children deciding for themselves against the declared will of the father. What is right and what is wrong for that child. Parents are helpless. Mother begins to write with a pen, immediately the 3-year-old child fight for that pen, get hold of it. She tried to push him out and give a beat, but no, but he wants it. Then finally what the mother do? Helpless mother say, oh trouble, take it. She takes another pen. The child, you know, smiles in his mind saying, I'm the master. I won. I won. I decide. You give another pen, no, I want that pen, exactly that pen. When the mother is helpless in the case of a pen, the mother is helpless in the case of anything else. The pen will be replaced today with something else, that's all. Issue remains the same. Who determines the issue? That's it. So God will not allow that. God said, in my garden I am the king. There cannot be room for another king. Get out from my garden. Yes. So God got man out. Man went, you know, I don't know, he went rejoicing or he went sad, I don't know, because he must go rejoicing because that's what he wanted. Or he must have, you know, gone very sad because he never realized that this is going to happen this way. I don't know. That's a possibility, Yes. So the contempt of divine authority in eating the forbidden fruit was a contempt or divine authority in general, not in that particular case only, it was in general. You read the history of man from Genesis chapter 3 on. By the time you come to Genesis chapter 4, 5, 6, what do you have? By the time it is 9, a whole world is going to be destroyed because they went against God's will. There's one man who obeyed God's will, Noah and family, So they were spared. Yes. So the act of disobedience cannot be seen as an isolated event in the life of Adam. It was at the beginning of a general lifestyle of challenging the authority of God. Yes. Therefore, Apostle John defines sin, says sin is lawlessness in 1 John 3:4. Sin is lawlessness. That's what it is. What a situation it is. Yes. At the lowest, the basic unit of the society is the family, and in that basic unit, the parental authority is to be established in the lives of the children. In the biblical way, it goes until the son is married or the daughter is given in marriage. With marriage, the father's authority ceases to express. He leaves the father and mother, establish another family. We are free. Then to interfere in their life the father is violating the God's law. Yes. Because you have no business. They have established an independent family. In old time, in somewhat it was like that. The son get married and stay with the parents. And, the second son get married, the first son will move out and all that. Maybe it's a custom, but whatever may be, the authority of the father is seen there. And now what is the authority of the father? In the marriage of the children, what the father has to say? My father has told the story of a man. I know the man. He was in our church back in Kerala. His father picked his wife, even didn't consult him. Those days, that's the way it was. So father picked, okay, you're going to marry that girl. All right. He didn't like her. But he had no choice. Because the father's authority and image is, so big. No common sense person would dare to disobey. And in that case, that was a very strong father also, very rich and very strong. So when the preacher asked, are you willing to take this wife? He boldly said, ask my father. That was the answer he gave. Ask my father. So the preacher asked, what do you say, Mathaija? Marry them. It really happened. And I know the person. And well, they lived comfortably. They had 6 or 7 children. Happily they lived. Because he realized that now there is no use in saying, I don't like, I have to. Divorces were not possible and nobody will accept. His father was very rich. If he do anything, he won't get the share. These were farmers, so they have to get the property. So, that's the way it was. They didn't have the choice. But now can you imagine a situation like that? Impossible. Even in the primitive societies, it's impossible. And I don't think what the father did is right. I don't approve it. But what I said is the authority of the father was respected. Now we gone to the other extreme. What happened, we study about Adam. What I meant to say that what Adam and Eve began was not an isolated event of disobedience, but it was the beginning of a lifestyle. for the whole posterity. And as days go by, it's increasing. I remember, one of my friends in America got married and he sent me a letter. He said, I was so excited that my father came for the wedding. He wasn't expecting. And so he said, I was so happy my father came. He was not expecting his father. He just informed the father only that I'm getting married on such and such. Anyway, his father went. The change, that's what the change. So in the coming days, even that will be changed. So transgression is, sin is lawlessness. It is lawlessness. The law that were established by God and approved by the society, for the family or for the society, they are violated. And we don't anymore look at it as sin. That's the sad part. The child who disobeyed the father in little thing maybe, it's not the thing that makes it. It is the authority, questioning the authority. That's what it is. Nobody think that you have committed a sin. Nobody will say, Monet, you go and ask forgiveness to your daddy. For what? Because you disobeyed your father. Disobeyed where? He called you, you didn't go. But I go when I want. Why should he call me? They don't have that sinfulness, that conviction of sin. But in early days it was not like that, When we make mistakes, we had the conviction of sin. Our conscience bothered us very much. Yes. I was visiting with a friend, they have a son. At that time he was only 8-year-old or 9-year-old maybe, or 8-year-old. He did something wrong, so his father called him and was going to kind of punish him. So the son was saying, as long as the earth is on the world is existing, I shall never disobey you. That's what the son was saying. As long as the world is here, I shall never. I was laughing. So, father son dealing, when I came back, I said, well, you got a good son. Why? Because he said that as long as he knows the formula. He knows the formula and to reduce the punishment, That's the way children are. They know the formula. Reduce the punishment. Whatever it is. The original sin, the Westminster Confession, the sinfulness of that estate whereinto man fell consists in the guilt of Adam's first sin, the want of original righteousness, and the corruption of the whole nature, which is commonly called the original sin, together with all actual transgressions which proceed from it. That's the last part. Together with all and actual transgressions which proceed from it. That's the definition of that. The sin that Adam sinned, the original one, what is that original sin? Original sin is everything that proceeds from it. All that proceeds from it. Every time a child is born, the child is, born with sin nature, and then child is doing something sinful. Adam's sin is being carried on, repeated. It's terrible, isn't it? According to Westminster definition, noted above, 3 particulars come under general head of sin. 1, the guilt of the first sin. 2nd, the corruption of nature resulting from the first sin. 3rd, actual transgressions of sin, of acts which result from the first sin. So, the guilt of the first sin. The first sin of Adam, strictly and formally considered, was the transgression of the particular command not to eat of the tree of knowledge. Now, this was a positive command or a statute and not a moral law. It tested the obedience more severely than moral laws, because the moral laws carries with its own reason, while the first command contains no intrinsic morality applied to reason except the mere good pleasure of God. And that's a very important statement. Any one of the moral law that says thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt this, they all carry with it a reason. Everybody is sleeping this hour. Oh, 3, 4. Why don't we all take a sleeping break? Well, the danger of serving that good food, Yeah, the rooster crows only after midnight. That's when the people start waking up. So this is closing to the midnight, that's another couple of hours. Yeah. Well, sleeping is not a bad idea, but but sometimes it's a danger. Somebody said that, Adam fell asleep, boy, he got up, he got somebody. That's a result of all the in Kerala we had an MLA who started the Catholic Congress, Catholic Congress, So in the Deva Sabha, he was in the legislative assembly, he was sleeping when the discussion was going on of importing some special bulls from New Zealand to increase our quality of the breed. So when he got up, somebody standing said that 1 hour constituency needed. So he immediately stood up and said, Catholic is a big word number. The Catholic Church also needed one. Without knowing what the subject was.
I heard a different version.
Maybe a different version, but the versions goes, but something happened.
Import 3 hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus, okay.
They are saying that importing something is being imported. Is that one out of that should be a Catholic?
But that's better. So don't say things out of your sleep, Yes. So the original sin tested the obedience more severely than moral laws. When people violate the moral laws, usually there is a motivation from within. He who steals, he may have his own reasons. Maybe he stole to support his family, or maybe, whatever maybe, there may be a reason. Or he had a tendency of, what they call kleptomaniac people, the addicted to stealing. But Adam had none of those things, No internal compulsions of anything. Plenty of food was available. He was morally right. He had the fellowship with God and everything. But then he disobeyed. So it was a more severe disobedience. It was a direct violation of the authority of God. The direct violation of the authority of God. So the guilt of Adam's first sin is the guilt of transgressing the law of Eden explicitly and the moral law implicitly. Rule of obedience revealed to Adam besides a special command not to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge was the moral law, the Westminster Confession says. The first sin of Adam was twofold, one internal, two external. The internal part was originating and starting a new inclination. It was not there, so the internal part was beginning a new system which he supplied to his progeny. He didn't have it. There was no internal inclination to sin it. So Adam, by will, had to create that. So he did it. He thought about it for a while. That fruit means submitting to God's authority. Well, so I'll be a yes man for everything. Well, that I don't like, I have to know everything with reference to God. Why? I'm a puppet or something? No, I don't want. I want to be independent. No, he thought about it. So then, that thinking, he said, no, I'm going to eat it. There the inclination comes. I'm going to eat it. Hey man, I'm going to eat it, you know. Yeah, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to take the fruit. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to make myself independent of God. I'm going to do what I want. Hey, I'm going to be a different person from tomorrow. You know, when I eat that fruit, I'll enjoy all the freedom. I'll do what I want. I'll do what I want. I'll go where I want. Nobody to restrict me. You know, that sort of thinking. So the inclination he created by his thought process and then using his will. Yeah.
What he's saying is he was carrying this thought over a period of time, and then it was a chance that the Satan approached Eve, and then it was initiated.
I tended to think that at least for a while, because when Eve gave it, he immediately took it and eat it. You know, the fact that there must be some thinking. You know, there must be, because Bible says Adam was not deceived. So no deception involved, no misunderstanding involved, nothing. So then means the proper understanding must be involved in it. So I think that he may have, he may have looked at the fruit and said, if I eat, I'll die. Okay, so that's a good idea. Hey, he wanted to live always submitted to God, or you want to be free someday? I like to be free. I don't like this habit of taking orders from other people, from God. So there was some thinking going on, and then when the conversation was going on, Adam was with him, so he was just closely listening what all saying. Yeah, so my thinking is true, shall be like God, Adam understood that. That means God has, the will to decide what he wants. He is the point of reference for all that he does. The same way, so I will be independent to make do whatever I want. That's a good idea, So poor lady ate on one occasion, one motivation, and he ate on another motivation. So the thinking was, so Paul's whole argument is, the Adam was not deceived but Eve. For Adam, no deception, have full knowledge of the implications and the consequences and everything. He thought through it and he did it. Yes.
In that case, why Paul is telling that women should be silent, citing this reason. They are not permitted to take authority.
Yes, there are a couple of theological, arguments. In Eden, what happened? There is an usurpation of authority. God did not tell her. God only told Adam. God never communicated with Eve. The communication was this Adam. So to the question, has God truly said? She did not give a correct answer. God said not to eat, but she said even not to see that. So it was a wrong answer. Secondly, on such an important issue that's going to decide the whole eternity, when she had taken the whole decision by her own hand, she proved herself that I am not qualified to make decisions. Period. And God said that you are not qualified to make decisions. So that goes to the man. The man willingly made the decision, even though it was wrong. So his decision side, he will not be under deception in the thing, but he will be making a correct, even when it goes wrong. But in this case, when wrong, but new creation, things will go right. So that was one of the reason. So Paul uses two arguments: the priority in creation and the priority in sinning. The priority in sinning is a prohibition for woman. The priority in creation for the man is his permission. So, the two goes together. Yes.
It against that both devil and man are on same means devil also took his own decision, man also took his own decision. Why God favored man?
Why God favored man? God didn't favor man. You look at read all the punishment given to man. In salvation, well, men and women are equally saved. Why devil was not saved? Is that the question?
Yeah, because devil also took his own decision. Human man also took his own decision.
Yes.
Own decision.
Yeah.
Only the woman was deceived.
That is true. Woman was deceived, but when Adam gave the answer, Adam was very intelligent. Adam was very intelligent person. Why did you eat? Well, you know why I ate. There is a problem of design, right? It's the woman you created to be with me. You have created the woman in such a way to have influence on me. She gave, what should I do? If God said you should not have eaten, but she has already eaten. See, Adam thought through the answers and all. Every stage Adam was very intelligent. Say, Eve said that I was deceived. Okay, that's accepted. Say. But Adam didn't say she deceived me. Adam put the blame upon God. If the woman you created, there is some creational problem in design. That's why, number one, she sinned it. See, she was not a deception. You should have known better to create a woman who cannot be deceived. Secondly, you gave such a woman to be with me. See, a creature who could be deceived, you put upon me as my partner. And she gave me, she ate and she gave me. What should I do? Do I have an option here now? Home department, cooking and food, serving food belongs to. So why? When she did it, so I ate. So God said to Adam, because you listen to your wife's voice over my voice. I told you, remember my voice, you shall not eat. Your wife's voice said, eat. Hey man, which one you should obey? When your wife's voice is contrary to my voice, you should have obeyed my voice. So very severe punishment was given to man. Actually, no punishment given to woman. I will say that only pregnancy, conception increased.
That's a big punishment.
Eh?
That's a big punishment.
Why you think that's a good punishment?
Yeah, severe pain and all.
The pain was there before. Yeah, but increase the pain. Increase the pain. I don't believe it is big pain because, you suffer all that pain. In 6 months, you are again ready. If it was we men, we will have only one child. Definitely. I won't submit for a second one. The birth pain is the biggest pain. But these women have 18 up to them. Susanna Wesley had 18. So if tells Samuel Wesley the childbirth is very painful, then Samuel Wesley says, I don't believe that. But how can you have 18 of them? One after another. So though it was painful, it was very rewarding because every time they are seeing the face of a child. That comforts, right? The man is not comforted because a child is born. The man is troubled because now I have to. You think about having, 10 girls in our man. When the girls are not getting married, what the wife will say? The wife will put all the blame upon you. See, the man has to find a house. The man has to provide education. The man has to get the food on the table. And the man has to, man has given them in marriage. And all these things. In another sense, what happened? The birth of the child, she has to suffer, but from birth to the whole burden is put on the man. So the hours of work, the man can eat less, the man can wear less, sleep less, and all these things. So God also put burden. With the sweat of your brow. You shall till the ground, but it shall not give thee fruit. So the major part of the curse was on man. And the burden is also. For the woman said, he shall rule over you. That's true. That's because you don't know now how to rule. Your administrative ability has been proved wrong. When it makes moral judgment and spiritual judgment, you cannot. So man will take. And it's childbirth. And then interestingly, when we come to 1 Timothy chapter 2, we read that she shall be saved through childbearing. So it becomes a point of salvation for the woman also. So that's wonderful.
The answer to John's question, what he was asking was, as angels, Lucifer sinned.
Yeah, that you carried over. Yeah, there was a difference between the Lucifer. A couple of things I said. Number one, every angel was independently created. So they don't have the class structure. Angels are not a class. Man is a class. One man's sin, everybody becomes sinner. One man's obedience, everybody. That cannot be. Once angel sin did not make everybody an angel. Every angel sinned individually. And that may have been different reason. So one death cannot save all the angels. If God has to save the angels, then he has to die for every angel. But in the case of man, that's not the one. Once man sin, everybody become a sinner. So one man's obedience, everybody in that genealogy become saved.
Is it an explanation or?
It's an explanation. It's an explanation.
But then how we say that angels are created by each one is one itself? They are not a class.
Because angels don't have females to give birth. They're only male angels.